everyone. So today I'm going to be doing how I do my gel manicures, give you tips and tricks on how I think you can do the best manicure at home and just let you guys know what I think about these products. Alright, so this is my manicure before. This is actually a color from Sensationail. It's called the Color Gel Polish, and this one is in the color Nude Mood. So that's what I've been wearing lately, but I'm going to take this off. But before I do that, I'm going to go through all the things you're going to need for doing gel nails. So first thing you're going to need is a gel nail polish, and this is actually the top coat that I'm using. This one is actually a top and base coat. This one is from Sensationail. I got this one from Walmart, and it actually came with this product, which is, I feel like, such a game changer, because this one, they call it the gel primer, which I thought was a little gimmicky at first, but since I have started using this, I have noticed my nails have lasted so much longer without like popping off, which is usually the problem I have with gel polishes. They don't chip, they don't crack or anything on me, but they do pop off like an entire little flake, which I'll show you in a minute. But since I've been using the gel primer, I think basically what it does is it like dehydrates the nail and kind of gets rid of any of the oil or anything like that, and just makes the polish stay so much longer. So these actually came together, and I think it was about $11 or so from Walmart, which I think was a steal. So far these have been my two favorite ones. I actually didn't end up buying any of the Modelones like base coat or top coat or anything like that, so these are just the ones I'm going to be using for this video. Next, of course, you are going to need an actual gel nail polish. The one I think I'm going to do today is 40 degrees Fahrenheit. It's like this really pretty blue color, and I think I'm just feeling something a little bit bright right now. I've been doing the nude nails for probably like a month and a half now, so I just want to do something fun. So of course you do need a gel polish, so that's the one I'm going to be using. And the next thing I think you definitely need is rubbing alcohol, and just some little cotton rounds like this are good. You know, one is definitely more than enough, and I like to reuse these as many times as I can so that it's not as wasteful. I literally will use these probably like up to 20 times, so definitely like having that. A couple optional things that you can use: I like using a cuticle pusher or an orange stick. I like using a nail file. I like using a cuticle oil at the very end when I'm done with my manicure, and of course I also like to use just some nail clippers sometimes as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into how I do my nails, and by first showing you how I remove my gels. Now, I don't know anything about nails, so everything I do is probably wrong, but that's okay. So a lot of the times I see a lot of videos of people doing like how to remove gel nail polish, and that always just boggled my mind because I've never needed a video to like remove my gel nails. Some people do it soaking it in like acetone, and maybe that's like salon version nails where like they really stay on. But I've never needed that. So basically what I do, usually sometimes they'll pop off on their own. Like if you didn't apply it very well, it can kind of build up on the nail cuticle here, and it will kind of create a ledge that, you know, things can get caught on, or sometimes if you run your nails through your hair, you can kind of feel it catching on that. But basically how I remove my nails, not the best way, but I do this. I just take like a little cuticle stick like this, kind of go around the edges like that, and honestly I don't even have to use that. I could just use like my fingers like that and just peel it off, and then this is the nail. Is it the best way? No, because it does do a little bit of damage to the top of the nail, but I always just go right over the top of it with gel polishes, so not the best idea, but this is how I do it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish doing that. So you can see how sometimes they just come up really easily. You can just pop them off like that, and yeah, so I'm just gonna keep continuing that. Alright, so that is the first hand removed. So you can actually see how long my nails are. They're kind of like almost to the point of like gross long, but I like the way they look with polish, but I don't like the way long nails look without polish, so I would never like just have nails this long with nothing on them. Of course they'd also break, but that is how I remove those. Alright, so that is how I remove my nail polish. Of course, like I said, there is going to be a little bit of damage to it because it does kind of, you know, rough up that top layer of your nail, but honestly I'm not that worried about it. So next thing I like to do is of course just push back my cuticles. I feel like that makes a really big difference at getting a really nice professional looking manicure. So I'm just gonna go through and push back all of my cuticles. Okay, and now that I have pushed back my cuticles a bit, as tempting as it is to just like slather my nails in like a cuticle oil, that's kind of the opposite of what you want to do right now. So even though like my nails, they look crusty and busted and like, you know, gross right now, and I want to just bathe them in an oil to hydrate them, that's going to be the worst thing you could do before a gel nail polish, because when you have oil on the nail, it prevents the nail polish from sticking and getting a really good grip. So having a little bit of texture on your nail is really not a bad thing at all. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to take my little cotton pad here. I'm going to take a little bit of my alcohol. I don't need that much at all, and I'm just gonna run that over the nails. And this is a really important step in my opinion. Even if you don't have the gel primer, you should definitely do this step. This is just gonna take away any of that top layer of dirt or oil or anything on your nails that can prevent the polish from sticking really well. So just do a quick little wipe over all the nails and it will make a huge difference. Another thing is I like to file and shape my nails a bit, so I'm just gonna do that really quickly. Okay, and as far as my nails, I just prefer a little bit of more of like the almond shaped nails. I do not like squared off flat nails at all. I don't know how people do that because that just looks so bad on me and it feels uncomfortable and I don't like it. So I just like to do like soft almond kind of shapes to them, nothing crazy, no coffin, no points, no stiletto nails, just a very soft point to them. So next I'm gonna use my Sensationail Gel Primer. Again, this is not like 100% necessary, but I do think it makes a huge difference in my nails and how they last longer. So if you don't have this product, then definitely do the alcohol across the nail. That will help kind of get rid of any of the oil or dirt on your nails. But now I'm going to start with this, and it's literally just the tiniest brush ever, and I just like to paint it all over the nail. It almost looks like an oil at first, which is very like counterintuitive, but it's actually much closer to like an alcohol. You can feel like how fast it dries on the nail. So I'm just gonna do that across all of my nails, and I'm going all the way up to the cuticle and really coating the nail well. That way there's no spots that I miss. And next thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna let these dry for about, I don't know, 30, 45 seconds before I begin painting the polish on there. So the next step is to take your base coat or your base and top coat, whatever you have. This one is one for both, so I like to use this one. And I'm gonna start with my index finger. And another thing about gel polishes is they can be very thick and goopy, but that's kind of to their advantage. So I'm just going to very carefully paint this across my nail, and I want to make sure I don't miss any spots, otherwise it won't stick evenly on the nail. And then I kind of like to go across the edge of the nail a little bit just to kind of seal the tip of it. And then I'm going to repeat the same process for my 4 fingers here, and then we will cure it. The other thing about gel polish is that since you are doing so many layers, you do want to make it as even as you can because they are going to end up a little bit thicker. But one other thing I really love about gel nails is they kind of just have this way of almost like leveling out itself. So it's kind of, honestly, it's kind of hard to end up with like a super bumpy polish unless you're just really bad at it. But they just kind of like level itself out. So now that I've got the polish on these fingers, I'm gonna take my lamp here and I'm just gonna put them in and cure them. And a little trick, if you ever feel like your nails have like a tingling or a burning sensation, instead of taking your nails out of the lamp, just wiggle them and that will make the sensation go away. It's a really good trick. I don't know why it works, but it totally does. And not all polishes give me like that tingly feeling, just some do and some don't. I really don't know what that is. And now that layer is cured, I'm gonna repeat the same thing for my thumb. If you are interested, I do have a full review on this nail lamp. I got this one so long ago. I think it's my it's my second most watched video on my channel. I don't know how it got that many views, but it did. But you can get these a lot less expensive now. I think I paid like 60 bucks for this set and it came with like the polishes and stuff like that, but now you could probably find it for like way less. But it's a great lamp. I love it and it has been so good, and I've literally had it for about 7 years now, so it's a good one. Okay, so next I'm gonna take my actual nail polish color. I'm using the Modelones color in the color 40 degrees Fahrenheit. It's that really pretty blue color. And I want to like be very careful and patient and kind of wipe off some of the polish here because this one just does kind of come out a little bit more goopy, and that's just how gel polishes are in general. And since you are going to be applying 2 layers of it, you don't want to go too thick on the first layer because it will kind of goop up. So I'm just going to carefully paint this on my nail. And don't worry if it looks a little like translucent on the first coat. It's not a big deal, and you'll definitely get a lot more coverage with the second one. And another trick I have is to, instead of starting right at the cuticle and painting downward, I like to start like midway through the nail, kind of disperse most of that product onto the length of the nail, and then I take the brush and I kind of like push it backwards towards the cuticle, and that way I don't end up getting as much polish on the cuticle itself, which can kind of create those little ledges that just kind of make it a lot easier for the polish to like get caught on things, and it almost creates like this edge where it just honestly makes them pop off a lot faster. So again, I'm just gonna take some of this polish and very carefully paint it and take my time. In my opinion, gel polish definitely does take a lot more time to apply than just a regular nail polish, but it lasts so much longer and it doesn't chip, it doesn't crack, it doesn't fade. So for me, it's really honestly worth it. And if I ever do get some of the polish onto the cuticle here, I always want to make sure I wipe that away before I cure the nail polish, because once you cure it, it will harden and it's no good. So definitely try to like take your time and clean it up and make the manicure look as best as you can. Another thing that I still have not found the perfect like solution for yet is that whenever you paint your nails with a gel polish and you cure it, the gel actually does like harden up as you would expect, but it kind of like recedes a little bit as well. So sometimes you kind of have to like go back and fill in a gap like on the edge of my nails, is particularly where I find that to be the case. But sometimes that does happen, and I honestly don't even have any great tips for that yet. So if you guys have any great tips, then definitely let me know. And I don't know if you can see, but while I was talking and explaining things, you can see the polish has almost receded just a little bit across all the edges of my nails. So one thing I like to do to kind of fix that is to just go back over them with a tiny bit more polish and then cure them right away. The longer you let them set, that gel polish will kind of shrink up and move across the nail a bit. So that's one thing you can see here. It definitely kind of receded a bit. The next thing is the most important thing ever, is to completely put the cap back on your nail polish, even if you're not done with it. I still have more coats to do. It doesn't matter. Put the cap completely back on and put it far away from your nail polish lamp. Because if your nail polish is just sitting out like right here and you turn on your lamp and this is exposed, you have just ruined your entire bottle of gel polish, because it will harden and seize up. So keep it far away and put the lid on it. All right, and now I'm going to cure the nails. All right, and so that is the first coat. Again, don't worry if they don't look like really perfect on the first coat. They never will. They'll always have a little bit of streakiness to it and unevenness, but the second coat usually fixes that a lot of the time. So again, just gonna very carefully paint over this and be very careful of the edge and the cuticle of my nails. I think you can see even there just how much better that looks from the second coat. All right, and that is the second coat, and I'm gonna cure that. So it definitely does take a lot of steps to do gel nails, but honestly, when I'm not like talking through this and like trying to really show it, I can probably get both of my hands done in about 20 minutes or so. Now, I think that's a lot longer than it is with a regular nail polish. I feel like, you know, paint, and let it dry, and then it's good. But with gels, it definitely is a lot more upfront time-wise, but honestly, I feel like the results is so worth it, and it doesn't chip or anything. So I'm gonna continue applying the color to my nail. For me, for about is how long does a gel nail polish manicure last? If I do it really, really good, no joke, it'll last on my nails for easily like 2.5 to 3 weeks. Now, one problem I do have is, you know, 1 or 2 nails here or there might kind of like pop off or kind of like catch on something and it will start to lift. And then usually I end up just having to like replace 1 nail or something like that. But overall, I feel like they last me easily 2 weeks. Okay, and so now as tempting as it can be to just say, oh, I've already done all this work, can I just be done yet? You can't. Now, if you were to just leave this polish alone, it would not be a good idea because these polishes definitely do need a top coat to really seal it in. Otherwise, it will kind of be in this like semi-solid, semi-liquid form. So you absolutely must do a clear top coat that is a LED or gel polish top coat. So you just can't kind of cut corners there. This is the same one that I used for the base coat, and just as always, paint right over the nail. I don't have to be super particular with the top coat because it is clear, so it's not going to make a huge difference, but I do want to, you know, take my time and try to make it as nice and even as possible. And cure that. All right, and after that has cured, then your nails look great. Now there is one more step that is 100% necessary. Remember your little cotton round, get that again, and use the same isopropyl alcohol, rubbing alcohol, whatever you have, and just do a quick wipe over the top of the nails. There are some top coats that you don't have to do this, but a lot of the ones, especially all the ones I own, you do have to wipe them, but there are some that are no wipe top coats, but this one I definitely have to wipe with rubbing alcohol. That just gets rid of that top sticky layer that can form if you do not wipe it, and these are perfect. They're already dry. You don't have any drying time with gel polishes, which I think is a huge advantage because sometimes I can end up with a really pretty manicure and then I dent it, or I get scratches in it, or I mess it up. But yeah, so that's pretty much how I do my gel manicures, and like I said, this usually lasts me easily for 2 weeks. You know, 1 or 2 nails might have to be replaced, but usually it's not a big deal at all, especially if you're just like replacing one nail. It takes me 2 minutes to do. Okay, so I finished the other hand. Now, of course, this one's never as nice because this is my dominant hand, so using my non-dominant hand to do this one is a little bit difficult, and it does take a lot of practice to get used to, so please excuse that this hand is not as pretty. And of course, these nails are always a little bit shorter just because these seem to break a lot more since it's my right hand. But now that I have my nails completely finished, I love how they look. They look so pretty, and I feel like even though they're not perfect, I feel like they look pretty dang good. And finally, the last thing I'm going to do is just take a cuticle oil. It doesn't matter what kind of cuticle oil you have. This is just one I got from a BoxyCharm box. This is the Ades New York Age Defying Nail Treatment, blah, blah, blah. And finally, I just like to take a little bit of that, paint it across my nails, and just massage that in, and it makes those dry, crusty cuticles look so much nicer. So I really love doing this last step, and I always save it for last because, like I said, you don't want to have any oil or anything on your nail before applying the base coat or any of the gel polishes, because it will not adhere to the nail as well, or at all in some cases. So just really like to save this for the very last step, and it makes everything look so much nicer. All right, and that is it for how I do my gel manicures at home. I really hope you guys found this video helpful, and this has been like, honestly, 6 years of everything I've learned packed into one video. I'm obviously not a nail professional by any means, but this is just the best I can do, and I feel like they turned out pretty well, and overall I'm really happy with this color. I can't wait to try all these other colors. There are so many pretty ones I have here. These are all of the gel polish colors that I have. Like I said, I pretty much tripled my nail polish collection when it comes to gel polishes, and there's so many pretty colors. I can't wait to try these. All of the ones I got were cream finish, with the exception of this silver one here, and yeah, I just can't wait to use these. I feel like they're so pretty. So that's pretty much it on how I do my gel nails. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram, link is below, and until my next video, I will talk to you guys later. Bye!